Good morning, everybody. It's me, Patty Ann, and I'm back in my basement studio. Today I'm going to work on actually quilting the block. Now, if you'll notice this first sample that I did, the only thing that I did when I quilted this was diagonal lines all the way through it. So, what I did was I started in the very center, and I made a mark from this tip to this tip, making sure that it ran through the very center of the square in the center. And I used my friction pen and I drew a line. I stopped when I got to the beginning of this white square, and then I started again here. And then I came over an inch from that line, lining it up carefully, and drew another one all the way till I got to the square, stopped, and went again. So that's how I quilted that, just in diagonal lines that were an inch apart. But for this one, I think I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Let me turn on a better light. Okay. For this one, what I think I'm going to do is something similar that I had done to the Layla and Levi quilt. I'm going to draw a line from this intersection right here, where it meets the white square, out to the edge there. So I'm going to draw it with my friction pen. And I'm going to do that in all four corners. Okay, watch you. Okay, there are my 4 places marked. Now let's go on over to the machine and I'll show you how I'm going to stitch this. Okay, I'm over here at my machine now. And recall that I like to put on my machine girders. I feel really comfortable wearing them when I'm stitching. But recall now that I drew a line from here to here. I believe you can see that. So what I'm going to do when I start stitching is I'm going to start at this corner, and I'm going to start a presser foot away, and you'll see that. And I'm going to stitch over this way with my walking foot till I hit this line. Then I'm going to pivot and come down this way. Then I'm going to go over, up, pivot that way. Okay, it's going to make a really nice design. It's going to be a lot tighter than what it was on my first sample. It's going to be tightly stitched like it was on my Levi quilt. So, again, we're in my basement studio. Luckily for me, I do have a window right there that I can look out. Okay, so I'm going to get ready, put my presser foot down, and again, I've got my presser foot, the edge of it, lined up with this seam. Okay, so I'm just going to start stitching a few stitches and then hit the back button. Whoa. And then I'm going to slow my machine down just a little bit. I'm going to, whoa, a little more. I like to be able to put my foot down the pedal to the metal and not have it go flying. So I'm going to keep stitching like this, keeping this side of the presser foot along that seam line until the needle hits that line that I drew. I don't know if you can see that at all. But then I'm going to pivot and continue stitching this way now. Okay, when I get to the end, just about, I know based on my machine, now I'm using my knee lifter. I could go back here and use the presser foot lifter, but I have the knee lifter on this machine that I can get at. So I'm going to use the knee lifter, pivot, and I know on this machine if I go about 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I should be lined up where I want to be. I'm going to stitch until I get up to that line that I had drawn, and I'm going to pivot and stitch to the end. So what I've done is I've stitched down to the bottom of that row. I'm going to go 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pivot, so last time I was using a Janome machine. This time I'm using a Brother. Both of them work just fine. I'm thinking for the next block that I do, I might use a treadle machine, or maybe one of my very, very, very old Singers, or maybe even a featherweight. I don't know. We'll see. Might mix it up a little bit. 3, 4, 5. Pivot. Okay, let's see how that has turned out. Okay, I like how the texture is on that. I think it really looks neat. And remember, you are using the friction pen, so you'll be ironing this off. So if you miss your little mark a little bit, not to worry. Okay, so 2 are done. I have 2 more to do, and I'll meet you back here when they're done. Okay, I finished with all of these corners, and now what I've gone ahead and done is to have marked the center square. Get my gloves back on. Okay, so I just marked a diagonal line from here to here, following what had been there before, and from here to here. What I plan to do is I'm going to start here and go out and around till I get to this point, and then I'm going to echo or go back to this point, and then go like this and like this. And then I'm going to come out here and stitch in the ditch right here till I get to this corner. Then I'm going to do the same thing here and here and here and here, and then I'm going to stitch in the ditch the rest of the way around it. Okay. Oh, I need to rethread my machine real quick. If you've never used one of these automatic needle threaders, it's pretty darn cool, I'll tell you. Especially when your eyes are getting old. Okay, so you just hit this button and it's going to automatically thread that needle. So I'm going to start here, needle down, and since this isn't a showpiece, it's just for me, I'm going to even in the center, rather than pulling the bobbin thread up like I should do, I'm just going to go do a few stitches forward and a couple stitches back, just to lock those stitches in place. And then remember, I'm going to go like this, a little loop. So I'm going to go slowly. I probably should have marked where the middle part of that was, so they'd be kind of equal, but I didn't, so it'll just be what it is. I'm going to curve until I get to this spot. Stop. Shift my material back. Now I'm going to go on the opposite side of this, kind of making a figure 8. Let's come out a little bit, then come back in so that I hit the middle there, and then do the second side. Come out a little bit, hit this end right there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch in the ditch till I get over to this diagonal line. I like to stitch in the ditch pretty slowly, because I really like to try to stay in the ditch. Okay, I'm getting close to the edge where I need to stop. There. Pivot again, and now I'm going to go like this and like this. So I'm kind of planning it out before I go, so I kind of know what in the world I'm doing. Just going out a bit and then coming back in to the center, going out a bit, and coming in to the edge. Good. Okay, now I'm going to pivot and go back and do the same thing on the other side. And then what I planned on doing was stitching in the ditch around here, here, and here so that the whole center part will be stitched in the ditch. And now that I'm at the end, I'll back stitch a little bit, 2 or 3 stitches, and come forward again and just cut my thread. Now for these rectangles here, what I planned on doing was just going a presser foot way away, going up here, over here, and like this, and just keep doing the same thing until I get to the center. So let's see, how's that going to work. Oh, nicely. So start, stitch, back stitch, up. Now when I get to the top, I'm just going to have to eyeball it to when I think I need to change or pivot, and I think it's right there. Oh, pretty good. Again, I'm going to have to eyeball it. I could have drawn some lines in, I suppose, but I didn't. I think one more. Ah, pivot. Okay, now what I want to do is I can just come over here. Actually, I could stitch off the edge if I want to. Eyeball it again to where I think I'm a presser foot away. Again, coming all the way up till I think I'm a presser foot away from the last line of stitching that I did. Just kind of estimating it. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, you can mark it. But I like it to be a little bit more free form. So again, I'm going to come to the edge. I think I'll actually almost come off the edge and go up here again. Just kind of guess where I would be. Whoa, I think I went too far. I'm going to back stitch 1 stitch, maybe 2. Let's see. And you can always try it. If this wasn't good, I could go back, oops, and add a stitch, or go back a stitch. But this actually was pretty dead on. I'm going to stitch in the ditch around this rectangle. And again, I go slowly because I want this to look good. There. Pivot. I'll be stitching over that other stitching in the ditch that I had done previously around the middle white circle, or middle white square, sorry. Okay, right to here. And then stitch down off the edge again. And I just like how this helps it to lay a lot more flat, and it just looks just a lot more finished. So I'm going to go ahead and do these other squares, and I'll meet you back here.